Right, welcome back to Champion Football. We're going to look at the Round 8 review, and joining us today is Gavin Rae, ex-Hakoah Gaffer player, riding a Gaffer, and then obviously no bad football career as well, mate. How are you?
I'm good, thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming on, mate.
No problem.
Straight into it, mate, 2 full seasons out of football.
Yeah.
Are you missing it?
I miss game day, definitely game day. There's a lot of stuff that goes on, you know, as a head coach, you've got to sort of manage up, you know, you speak to the board and about budgets and stuff and technical directors or whatever, which is sort of away from the actual like squad stuff, which is, I enjoy, but like don't miss so much that side, but the actual game day, the competitive streak, you know, obviously that's something to definitely miss, and being around the boys in the dressing room and having a laugh with the team, miss that side of it, but yeah, just been so busy. Don't really get a chance to miss it too much either.
Fair. Obviously, the last coaching spell was at Idomere. Have you kept an eye on NPL football since you stopped being involved?
Yeah, definitely. I always, you know, keep across most football stuff. Football mad. Yeah. So obviously being from the UK, always across that. But even NPL stuff, I go and watch Hakoah now and again because it's close.
Of course.
And go and watch the games.
Do you see much? Obviously, you've got Jacob at Appia, your son at Appia. Do you watch a lot of the first grade games?
Now and again, we'll go. Well, my daughter's at Appia, and we have to go to the first grade women games as well sometimes.
Yeah, okay.
So yeah, I see a lot of the games. I know a lot of the boys. The first grade train sort of after my son. Yeah. So I know a lot of the boys anyway. I had a few of them.
Chris actually messaged in the chat saying you're an arsehole. I did just sound.
He's an arsehole.
He just went to futsal, didn't he?
Yeah,
futsal Roos.
Yeah.
Did he come? The new squad got announced. Is he in that?
I'm not sure.
They got announced last night, I think.
Okay, I'm not sure.
I would. So you see the Appia games? Have you caught many of them this season? Appia games?
Beaten I think one game this year so far that they've played. So they've sort of been all right. They're sort of getting some good results, but then getting some not so good results, but probably by their standards, what they've done the last couple of years. But they'll be there or thereabouts. They always are. A good squad. Really good squad. Franco's done a great job.
It's interesting that because they've, like, looking at the start of the season, points wise they're actually doing pretty well.
Yeah.
But because of how well Appia have done over the past couple of years, it's like, they've not started great, but
definitely.
It's a funny league, but because like Wollongong Wolves, for instance, like we were talking to Jake last week, they were top, and then they lose one game and they went fifth.
Yeah.
And then they dropped again points at the weekend, and you're looking at Sydney United, who had apparently a terrible start. They're flying up the league now.
Yeah, I've seen a couple of results, and it's like a couple of results early, and putting them together and run results, you're right up there because it's a close table. It's not really running away with it.
That's the difficulty in football, but isn't it? Is just consistency at any level. If you can be consistent for 5, 6, 7, 8 weeks, like
hard to do at NPL level, but because. I don't know, it's hard. I just think every pitch is different, every team, the players turn up different, the jobs in during the week and all the rest of it, it's different mindsets. It's hard to get that consistency. Usually that's why when the quality shines at the end, isn't it?
That's it. If you've got a stacked squad, that's like, look at Madrid and NPL2. What, they had 7 wins out of 8. So like, you know, like obviously they're a good quality side, similar to when we were around them, where they're a really good side, and obviously you're right up there because the quality shines through in the end.
100%, man, you need that. Are you going to give us a wee prediction who you think will win NPL 1 this year?
It's a tough one.
It's actually sitting here, put your neck on the line, so don't be a shit bag neck.
I'm sure actually. I'm sure. Like we said, like last year Appia were really strong. Who's like up at the top at the moment?
Marconi's up there.
Marconi's getting results, yeah.
Wanderers are doing very well. They're looking very good.
They're looking good, but I don't know whether they'll sustain that the whole season.
And because how it always gets chopped and changed,
so
it's a tricky one for them. But they've started well. Blacktown City are always going to be up there.
Always up there.
Rockdale as well.
Rockdale, we can't forget Rockdale. They look decent as well.
If I put my net in line, I'll say Appia again.
Appia?
Yeah,
it's an absolute cop out, man. Absolute cop out.
Move on. Last weekend's games.
What weekend's games, mate? So you've done your homework, as you said. Good, because I've not. So, I mean, you put in here, Chaz, Appia beating Sutherland. I think not shocker, but I think the big game around was probably Olympic game.
Yeah, fair.
Against Wolves, especially the way the game went.
For me, I just went the shocker round because no one saw a 7-0. There's no way.
I think I said 6-1. Well, to be fair, mate, it was 7-0 going on about 14.
No.
That was a doing, man.
I seen the result, well, I seen the goals coming through on the app. Is it Football 24? I always watch the goals and that, and then seen the result, I was like, wow. And then watched the highlights, and like, say in the first half they had 13 shots on goal. 13 shots on goal, 9 on target in the first half.
I will actually that
incredible.
down. It was 13 shots. Sutherland had 1 shot off target in the first half.
It was a doing, wasn't it?
That's a proper pumping.
And there was big. The chances they missed were sitters as well.
Yeah,
It's
one
big
of them
chances.
a lot more.
It's obviously the keeper's conceded 7, right? But it could have, as you said, been a hell of a lot more.
I wasn't really any mistakes though for the
no,
goal.
no.
It was just
No, some great goals.
Good play, some really good goals.
Some brilliant goals. Can't not mention Segretto's goal.
That's ridiculous.
That's it. I mean,
It's a
that,
right foot and a half volley.
probably before they put in a goal of the week segment, that's probably goal of the week, eh?
That's definitely
That's
got to be up
exactly.
there.
Aye.
I actually think though the second goal was a
Kasper's?
Kasper's as well.
Aye, very good.
It's his first touch, like the ball gets fired, and his first touch and awareness to kill the ball. Next touch, great French into left foot top corner.
Aye.
Oh, and Jack Stewart will be missing as well, wasn't it?
Aye,
He's
suspended.
suspended. 7-0. I mean, man, I just don't. It's hard to come back for that because they've not had a great season so far. They've not been playing badly, to be fair to them.
They had a good chance at 1-0.
Aye.
At 1-0
It's
they had a
great
bad
chance.
chance.
Aye.
But it just shows you football. You miss a chance
They
and
always
you
do
punished.
get. They always do get chance. Every game they played this year, we said that last week in the podcast. They
Like,
always
if you-
get chances.
The defending on the highlights, like, they're just like going through the middle and there was like one person defending.
One defender.
And it's just like, oh, the fuck.
Oh wait, I think they played Stamatellis midfield.
Aye, they did.
okay.
Aye, which I think is a bit of a schoolboy. He's probably arguably one of the best defenders, most experienced defenders in the whole league.
Oh, I don't know. Go, he's very good
Oh,
player.
he's a very good player, mate. And I think if you're going to put him in midfield, because you're risking a lot there, because Appiah are going to be on the back line. I think
He
of
loves
the game.
midfield though, that's why. Like, so that's how I got him to Aqua, because he was really keen to play midfield, and we're like, well, you come here, I'll play midfield, no problem. And he played midfield, like
yeah.
majority of games.
Good
he
for
was,
you?
He was very good, very good
He's a good player, intelligent
very
player.
good. But then when you see his quality at centre back, he's been here for years.
So calm, man. That's
He's
what I think.
good
I guess Appiah, he can read the game a lot from the back.
Yeah.
So I was surprised to see him going into centre midfield. I think that helped him. It probably wouldn't have had a huge effect on the scoreline. I think Appiah looked different just in one of those.
Aye, had a day.
We played Appiah last year. I think Sydney FC had just beaten 4-0. It was like midway through last year. Appiah started really well last year. And we got in the week after they get beat up Sydney FC. And I think we took kick-off, they took the ball right off us, and we never crossed the halfway line. That was us. We just got absolutely pumped for the full first half. I think it was like 3-0 at half time. Finished 5-0 I think the game. But it was a doing. Same thing as that, like you just couldn't get out. And it was like when they were on it.
When they're on it, they've got good quality.
That's, I mean, that'd be cracking
They've
players.
got
Well.
boys that have been there for a long time,
Aye.
and then they had them in like younger ones as well coming through.
Aye.
With good quality. And that's why I think they maybe not struggled at the start, but it was a slower start than probably what they're expecting. Obviously, that first result was a terrible one, but now they're sort of getting that, and they've got some good players.
Who was that young lad? We went to watch the World Cup final, we went to watch Chaz playing, and I was standing next to you, and there was a young boy who played for Appiah, came on. Who was that again?
Oh, the boy with the
Seven
curly
feet.
hair? I don't know, he's not there.
Is he not?
No, I think he's there.
He was a cracking
He was a
player.
great player. I can't remember his
Do you
name.
remember him on top of it? He played centre midfield against you in the World Cup final.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean, but I can't remember. I've not seen him this year.
He was really good.
Yeah, I don't know where he's went.
Oh, who knows?
September with his first Appiah goal.
Oh, really?
Aye, he scored.
I seen his goal, but I didn't know it was his first goal.
No, I'm just taking the piss because he scored so early. But he scored, I actually messaged him and he was laughing saying, I told you that deliver.
I talked about it, didn't I?
Fair play, man. Fair play. And then the Olympic game, 4-3.
Crazy.
That was mental. That was
Crazy game, eh?
3-2 in that football 24. I'm pretty sure everyone uses football 24. And then forgot about the game and seen it all come through the chat. Like O'Donovan scored, and I thought, they've nicked a wee draw. I can't believe it, man. 4-3.
But
Crazy.
what about Ofuka's goal, the second goal?
Great
He's on
goal,
fire
mate.
this year.
Mate, he was literally
Great
saying
goal.
3
But that's a
defenders,
good.
man.
I mean, that is like Segretto was probably that good. It does beat it, but Fukas was a screamer.
Aye.
Cracking goal.
Aye.
Like.
The angle as well.
His touch inside, that literally 3 defenders had just gone this way and he's popped through the gap. It was a great goal.
But the big win that for Olympic needed it,
Do you know,
and
it's very interesting there because obviously they've had a, let's say, indifferent start. Like,
Rob,
it was
poor start. Poor start by this time,
right.
surely.
Aye.
So then, but they seem to just be kind of now starting to, I don't know if you'd say finding a run of form, but getting
what was our
results.
score last week? The week before
They won last week as well.
against. But 9 was no Manly 10 men.
Aye, but that's what I'm saying. At the start they've had.
Against Wolves a good game.
Wolves were
'Cause
flying.
Wolves have been playing well.
Aye, but you give them credit for winning, but they could have easily lost that.
Aye.
Easily.
Aye, a minute to go.
3-2 down
Aye,
last
aye.
minute. You know what I
At
mean? So,
home
like,
again.
Yeah, no, fair play to them coming back, but yeah. could be
All
good.
again is that we've said this before already with the Olympic, but is that just the wee, you know, it's like you get a last minute winner.
Sometimes you need a wee kick.
The wee boost together as a squad, maybe it brings them together. I don't know who they've got. We'll find out who they've got this weekend. Do you remember? They got it in that sheet. But they'll be interesting to see how they crack on with. But Wolves, 2 games. They lost last week, didn't they?
Yeah, lost to Wanderers last week.
2 games in bounds, so see how they respond, but they'll still be good. They've got a good squad.
Yeah.
Marconi, another 3 points to Mariners again. Left it, I wouldn't say late, but left it to the second half. Look comfortable with that?
Look very. Obviously, they had the goal ruled out for offside, both teams.
I seen that.
And then when in the second half, and that, you never really saw Central Coast causing much bother.
No. They've got good players again. Good quality
On paper,
players.
mate, brilliant.
Good players.
I think for Marconi, again, I don't think they're playing brilliantly right, but they're winning all the games.
They get results.
So that's what I mean. So
Definitely
again,
get
if you're going to get
results,
results and playing crap, they might not find unbelievable form, but if they do with the players they've got, they could end up hitting a right good bit of form.
What's the striker called?
Timokowski.
He came on half time, right? He was young boy. I remember him. He was at Sutherland.
Seems to be scoring goals.
He's a good player.
He scored. Was he not in Adelaide?
I was, yeah. Did he
I
go
think
away?
he was in Adelaide,
He used to play for Southern Sharks.
Did he?
Yeah, I'm sure he's Sydney.
Ah, right.
Yeah,
Oh, he's
I'm
Andrews.
sure
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, you're right, he was, because then it says, I read something basically saying that he was 30 goals is what he's wanting. He said just a goal a week, it's not much.
Aye.
That's basically what he's come out and said, which is fair
Just
play
that.
to him, man.
I've seen him in the 20s when he was at Sharks. He was unbelievable in the 20s.
Was he?
He was a very good player.
Aye.
And then he sort of came through. He played for a couple of clubs in Sydney, I'm sure, before he went away to Adelaide. Like, so.
Well, a goal a game is, to be honest, modern day football now. Because since like Messi, Ronaldo, Kane, Mbappe, Lewandowski, a goal a game is now
Normal.
Expected.
It's normal, and if it's not, because it used to be, I remember a goal every 2 games used to say, like, that's good rate. Now a goal a game is like, if you're not getting that, rubbish. and these players are getting a goal a game plus assists.
Aye.
I think Harry Kane's got like 20 assists and 35 goals or something.
Yeah,
He's a joke though.
He's a joke. I'm saying that's the standard. The
100%.
bar's been raised. Wanderers won again. That looked a decent game. 4 more goals again.
I know.
They'll score goals. They've got good quality players. I know Zaki Satsford really well. He was at Aqua as a
He's
kid.
been playing well.
Very well, he's a good player. Obviously played in first grade and scored that Derby win, and not really been seen that much since in first grade for Wanderers, but he's a good player.
That's what you can do. Like, he scored goals when you're given an opportunity.
Yeah.
He was good against us when we played against them. But they've scored 3 or more.
3 or more in every game, pretty
most
much,
games, aye. But I do feel sorry for, if I'm in that Wanderers squad and then it gets decimated in round 20 because of the way the A-League works and things get moved around. Pretty gutting, because you know what it's like, if you're top of the league or top 3 and the camaraderie in the squad's good, and all of a sudden, he's missing, that's missing, here's coming. It's a bit disappointing because you can slide down the league.
It's strange though, I think it's strange with the teams like that are affiliated with the A-League teams, because like, of course it's important, but it's not as important as a Marconi or an Appia winning.
No.
Do you know what I mean? Because they've got other things, they've got other aspirations to go and become part of the pro team.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit different. Like I don't think they'd be as what we would be if they were up there and then they didn't win it. Whereas obviously we'd be devastated if we were up there and you don't
That's
win
your
it.
thing, I suppose.
Yeah, I suppose their goal is to get to the first team, it's not to win NPL 1.
Is there anyone in that Wanderers team who you think, I don't know, I want to know a couple of the boys who you think are good enough to make it? Do you know any of the boys?
I know Zaki. I think Zaki's a really good player.
I think Yunus is a good player as well.
That's the other one I was going to say, Max Yunus. He's a very good player. But they boys have been in and around the squads and sort of played a little bit here and there. But again, it's tough to make that breakthrough and be consistent in that pro league.
It's hard to make it professional, man.
Again, it's consistency, I think.
Rockdale, How's good 3 points. We mentioned that before the podcast, before we started.
Because I think they were another one that with Sutherland Sharks are a wee bit like, how are they going to do? Do you know what I mean?
Manly's always tough.
Struggled. And Manly, everyone says, is obviously they were at home. But everyone's Manly's a good game. So to come out with 3 points is...
I've seen them a couple of times last year, NPL2, like when they were playing at Hensley and watched the games. They're a good team.
They were comfortable, not quite comfortable in NPL2 last year.
Yeah, they were really comfortable. Popped up out really well, played good football. And they've added a few players obviously this year, so they've done alright.
It'll be interesting to see what happens with like the Hills, St George Saints, even us, St Sutherland. I feel like there's a top 5. I just feel like the rest of it is anybody's, man. Anybody's. As you said, you can easily get a run of form going. You win 3 games on the trot, you could fly up the league.
Yeah, definitely.
Or enough, even you got 2 places, but then you start to be within touching distance of, start believing, if we win the next 2, we could be in the playoffs here. You start believing. I think it's
just in that Hills game, Frangi's goal was good. A really good goal. I had Frangi at Hakoa.
Did you?
Honestly, he's absolute loon ball. He's funny guy, but he's one of those players that I think the rest of the team just think he's annoying and a bit of an idiot. But he produced goals like that.
Oh, it was baseball kit last year.
goals like that nearly every week, like every other week.
Really?
And that's what you sort of give you. You sort of have to put up with all the idiocy to get that. He was a really good player for us, but then he
He's well, last year he obviously done the bicycle kick, like the Garnacho style top bin, and Richie Darko won the goal of the year for the one for the halfway line against Wollongong Wolves in the last minute, 95th minute.
I remember that, yeah.
There's a lot of controversy on whatever. I think Richie even says like, how's he not won that? Pulling off a bicycle kick.
He scored like, doesn't score like tap-ins. It's always goals like that. It's always like amazing goals. He needs to score more of the rubbish goals. He needs to tap
There's no rubbish goals, mate. That's the way Segreto seems to be going this year. Every goal's a hack finish. Then Rockdale playing against us, Spirit. 32 degrees Sunday afternoon, 3 o'clock kick-off. Stinking.
Horrible.
Stinking. So hot. The game was played at quite a slow pace. Rockdale deserved the win, to be fair. We did make it pretty uncomfortable for them. It was 1-1 at half time. And then 50 minutes of second half, penalty from a handball, and then Jake Chidiak.
Was it a penalty? It looked a hard one in the video.
I'm sitting for the dugout. I've not actually seen the replay of it. For the dugout,
I thought it was a penalty.
it looked like a penalty from where I was sitting.
Just because of the way, like he's in front of the goal, it just blocks it.
You couldn't see where his hands were.
I don't think it was too controversial because I'm looking for the dugout. So, but as you said, it's central to goal. Someone's shooting. If he doesn't block it, it's stopping a good strike at goal. And his hands looked like they were out a wee bit.
I didn't know where his hands were.
I don't think it was anything like intentional.
I think it's a penalty.
It's a penalty, and then send it off 5 minutes later, and from then
Jake scored, didn't he?
Jake scored. To be fair, we didn't have there wasn't a ton of goal mouth action at either end. First half anyway, it was just hot, mate.
What position is he playing?
Jake, right wing.
Right wing.
Did a bit at right back. He played a slightly different formation, done a bit at right back, but he's playing more attacking now.
Okay.
But Rockdale got the win, deserved the 3 points, to be fair.
Again, they've got a good squad.
Oh, mate, that's the thing. Like coming off the bench, Blake came off the bench. I mean,
he's a very good player.
Very good player, man. I mean, it has been. I think he's just coming back from injury. But and then they're bringing off Euro, bringing off Bay, so they can afford to do that.
You know what? I was obviously watching the game. It looked like it was bubbly because it was so dry.
Mate, it was roasting hot, honestly. It was so like
And that's like in Australia, like the Astro pitches you kind of need because obviously if you get rain, you're done. The game's off. So you need the Astros, but then a lot of them, you see, you watch the games and the ball's like bobbling. It's not like it's totally different. It's not slick.
It was a tough. I think what made it harder for a lot of boys out there, both teams, was that it's not really been that hot in the last month or so, and then out of nowhere it was 32 degrees slap bang afternoon.
32 degrees on the synthetic is 40 degrees.
It was tough. Every single player, even speaking to some of the Rockdale boys, are saying it was exhausting. Like that night, they're just drained. It's tough, but again, that's when if you've got that little bit of quality, you can keep the ball a little bit longer and just completely drain the other team. But 3 points, deserve to win. Blacktown against Sydney United, and good result. But again, I mean, they're probably disappointed not winning the game.
Of course.
But good result, 2-2 against Blacktown. Was that away from home?
It was at Landon. Called it. Landon Stadium or something it's called now.
That's
the old
Lilies.
Old Lilies.
Old Lilies. It's called Landon.
Landon.
Is that the name of a company or?
Must be.
Landon Stadium.
I didn't even know that. Oh, there you go. What was thoughts on that? The free kick. Was it Travis Major hit the free kick?
I don't know when I was put the ball in the box, but it's hard to see from the video if it takes a touch or what exactly.
I watched that a few times.
It has to have taken a touch.
Yeah.
Because the keepers obviously came out flat and behind the boy that looks to have headed the ball in. But for me, keeper just needs to stay in his goal. When the ball comes in and it's flat, you don't go. Because any touching it, you're dead, you're gone, do you know what I mean? So if it's head height coming into the box, you stay in your goal and hopefully you get a reaction or you manage to get something on the touch that comes. But going in and hoping that no one touches it is too.
Do you keep an eye on Sydney United because you were there?
No.
Ruthless.
Is it a fucking weeks?
I just thought maybe he had
won
the
the cup,
left with a medal.
Won the cup, got a few, went with the boy. I thought maybe you knew a few of the boys and all the rest of it. There you go. Absolutely shafted them. Okay, NPL 2, Chico.
We drew. We played. NSW played ST Raiders away. ST Raiders were decent.
I watched them the week before against Hakoah.
They're done alright. I get told against Hakoah they were good until they conceded.
Yeah, and then it was Hakoah.
And then they went. But they were decent. Like in terms of they moved the ball well. Like it was a decent game of football. To be honest, the first half they were better than we were. And in the second half we changed a wee bit and it became more even. We were probably a bit better in the second half. I think a draw was a fair result. But I was surprised that they were better than I thought they were going to be, just based on results. I've not seen them play, but based on the results, it was kind of like, oh, they're not going to be very good, but they were good.
You've got a good team, you've got an experience. I watched this a few weeks ago, you weren't there obviously, you didn't fancy it, but, against Rydemere.
Yeah.
So I watched that game and the boys played well that day. The two boys in the middle were very good.
Did you get a standing ovation at Rydemere?
No. It was at UNSW. I don't travel that far anymore. I don't need to travel that far anymore. The two boys in the middle are good,
who was playing? Lockie and Gabby?
Aye.
Gabby's a joke.
Experience, mate.
Gabby's a joke.
Who's that? Gabby Lopez?
Aye. He's a joke.
Yeah, good player.
It's one of them.
How old is he?
32, I think.
You can tell.
Where was he before NSW?
Berries.
How was it?
I was at Berries.
Oh, hold on. This is the lad that does the shin pads did low. The socks did low. Played with Berries last year.
He was at Berries last year, aye.
That's the lad I was talking to you about before you signed him. I was like, oh, we've seen footage of him.
Maybe a 6, 8.
Quite like just throws a bit a wee bit.
Aye. Oh mate, it's funny because he's like, even defensively, you don't expect him to do the work defensively, but he grasps. But what he doesn't have in pace, he's got in here.
Definitely.
So you see somebody going to get into a situation and he just rolls his body the right way to protect the ball, and he's very, very good.
That game against Rydemere, because obviously Rydemere are young, they've sort of changed the policy of the team and stuff, so they're a lot younger. With them two in the middle, just the experience, just like...
Is he a visa player?
Yes, he is.
Aye, visa player.
Aye, but he's very good.
Yeah, no, I was impressed by them too.
Spartans beating the Pean 1-0. That Nepean result's killing us, man.
Why are you killing? Oh, they've beaten you?
We went up to Nepean and lost 4-0 on the Tuesday night. 4-0, get absolutely battered.
Wow.
And then Spartans we 1-0.
Did you play that night?
Probably. Mount Druitt returned to winning ways. 4-0 against Tigers. Nothing each at half time.
But that's some score that fun. His Tigers are decent,
aye. So it's nothing each at half time.
Who scored the goals after Druitt?
Don't know.
No?
Don't know. But I think it was 4-1.
I was going to say, because one of Ollie Wiggum was talking, I think he went to watch it, he said the first half Tigers had a good few chances, and then the second half obviously Druitt.
I think it was more ball over the top in the second half from Druitt in terms of more direct and pace, and that's what killed them. They created 4 1-on-1s and scored 4.
What did you watch Hakoah? You went to that game? Hakoah game?
No, not the Rydemere game. I went to Hakoah versus SD Raiders. Yeah, it was an incredible result.
Did they not have a game earlier on this year? It was 5-4 Rydemere.
Lions,
aye, 5-4. Wow. 2 5-4s in one season.
Wow.
Mental one.
They won against an Alliance 5-4, I think, though.
Was it?
They beat an Alliance 5-4.
It was. That's right.
Ahmed scored twice.
First game season or something.
It was early on. And then they lost 5-4. They two red cards in 2 weeks for Rydemere. A
lot of red cards. Oh, I didn't even mention, because me and Chaz were texting on the weekend just talking about red cards, and I thought to myself on a Saturday night, there's no red cards today in NPL 1, and then Chids gets sent off for us. So I think that's been every single week. A red card. No, in NPL 1. NPL 1 there's been a red card, or multiple red cards.
Every week.
Every single week. There's been sometimes 3 or 4.
Yeah, wow.
Nuts.
Dylan gets sent off for Rydemere.
Don't know.
Cahill.
No way.
For what? I don't know. I was actually thinking that. Talking too much to the referee.
Is that what it was?
I don't know, I'm assuming.
It must be like he's not
but 2 yellows.
Wow.
So he gets sent. And I think there was a red card in the Boiler game as well. That's 2 in NPL 2. I think there's an averaging between 4 and 6 a weekend across the leagues. MacArthur Bulls
6-1 against Berries.
6-1. So doing. It's interesting that for me as well, because we've always said that they're tidying the ball without creating too much up top. And then they go and score 6.
Smash 6, yeah.
So it's a one-off game, but I see if we can keep it up.
100%. And Alliance got first win in 4 games, beat Dunbar 3-1. MacArthur Rams lost at home to Bonnyrigg.
Bonnyrigg have won the last 2, I was going to say that.
So again,
there's a team that's sort of coming, put a few results together.
And
they should be up there.
They should be up there, mate.
They should be.
They should at least be competing for promotion.
Yeah,
and then what was the last one? Backstone City. Delight Child had a very poor start to this year. 5
points in 8 games. I think them.
They've not really. A lot of the games have been tight, haven't they? They've lost a few goals, late goals and stuff. But no penalty points.
2-1s, 3-1s. And then NPL 3, South Coast Flames came from behind to draw with Central Coast United. Parramatta beat Gleesville Ride Magic 5-0.
Ride Magic are having a tough time.
They
Very
are.
tough time.
First winning 4 for Parramatta. Sydney Uni lost heavily to Camden, 5-1.
How's Sydney Uni these days? They pretty poor?
They were
Poor.
poor against us. When I was coaching at Redmond, they were in the same division, they were pretty poor. Like, they were, they're the coach. Remember the coach? They were trying to pop it about.
I get sent off, mind that?
That's right.
I broke my nose.
That's
Who's the
right.
gaffer?
I can't remember. He used to be at Coogee, and then he went to Sydney Uni, and he was like proper, like getting it to pass about, and it was like
Nice to
good,
watch.
nice to watch. But always said, like, as soon as they start passing it out, press the life of them, and we battered them. Mate.
Did you know what annoyed me with that? Like, this is back then, is the language that the coach would use. Like, talking about setups, you know what I mean? Like, stay in mid-block and like, but just screaming stupid instructions. It made you relax, man. Like, we're doing that. Anyway, Inner West Hawks, the first defeat since round 1 for Inner West Hawks.
That's it?
Aye.
What?
They lost 3-2 to Mounties. Yuki Kanai scored twice again.
Is she not 12 goals, 13 goals?
Aye.
Is that the guy that was it?
Right on the last.
Is he the top NPL scorer just now?
I would assume
Has to
so.
be, man.
I would assume so, is it?
Has to be. Maybe they can't have anyone
Two
close to
a
that.
week.
Don't know who's. I
I mean,
mean,
they scored like 5 in one game or something.
I scored 4 one week.
They can't have anyone close to him.
nah, I don't know anyone who'll be close to it. I think NPL 1, the top scorer, might be on like 7 or something.
I think he's definitely comfortable double figures now
Yeah.
for Yuki.
Is he
Supposedly
good? Good player?
clever, very
Is he
clever.
like a 10 or like a...
Well, right when he was a 10 base playing as a 9.
So do you reckon that just NPL 3, transfer window's coming in June, say, roughly June. NPL 3, Yuki's the main man.
I'd say so. I mean, if somebody's scoring more than a goal a
Who
game,
do you reckon's the main man in NPL 2? Anyone stick? You've mentioned Gabby Lopez, but is there anyone else? But without looking at your own team. Mendy?
yeah, he scored a lot of goals. Aye.
Decent,
Right.
Scored a
I
lot
always
of
look at strikers.
I think he scored twice at the weekend.
What about
by the way.
defenders? Who's like really right good defenders? 'Cause
Okay.
you always go towards attackers, don't you?
Connor Shattuck at Hicko is quality, mate.
What's his name?
Connor Shattuck.
Oh, okay.
Centre back,
Yeah.
captain at Hicko is a very good player. Been missing with injuries a few times. But
Central defender?
Central defender, aye. He's a good player. If he's not playing, then they miss him, definitely.
Do you
Aye, he's good.
know Timmy plays for us?
Local?
Aye. Very.
I just says nobody in your team, mate.
Alright, sorry.
Two best players in NPL, two for NSW. Aye, right.
Who else? I'm trying to think of like who scored a lot of goals.
As I'm saying, not attackers.
Hero.
It's always attackers.
Oh, okay. No attack.
Hero?
Aye, there's a boy that plays for Northern Tigers.
What about your man for Northern Tigers who was the top goal scorer last year?
Kai Denton.
What about him?
Don't know.
Seems-
Not scored a lot of goals. I don't know if he's been injured though.
Oh, okay.
Because they've signed someone else as a striker. I can't remember the boy's name. But they've got another striker they took from our team.
Isaac's a good player for Redmond. Young kid.
Isaac Cunningham?
Yeah.
Ah, he's a good
Isaac's
player.
a joke.
Very good player, yeah.
He's a very... actually...
Do you know what he looks like? Screech for Saved by the Bell. So I see him.
It does, it's his barnet, barnet.
And his nose.
Ah,
I see him
and
every
his
Friday
face.
morning. His face.
what do you call it? He's a porn star, isn't it, Screech? Oh, he was a porn star.
Isaac.
He became a porn star after Saved by the Bell. Mad transition. So, Isaac, mate, you've still got a career ahead of you, son. So, lastly, wrapping up NPL 3, Huddersfield Zagreb lost. Jets, what does the Jets got? 6-0 to Bankstown United, and then
It's a result, that, by the way.
That's a very good result.
That's
But then
result.
that's it. Mounties are a point behind Jets now at the top of the league and 1 goal better off.
it's good score by Mounties against Stanmore in it because they've played well.
Aye.
And then Prospect, sad day, Granville Ridge scored only 1 goal this week for the first time this season. They've scored 2 every other game.
Every week, Gavin scored twice and Todorowsky scores.
Who scored this week?
Not Todorowsky.
And Prospect, but
Prospect
Champion
won.
Football
There you
Cup,
go.
there we go. Prospect versus Granville Ridge. Right, cool. Just before we crack on, we do need to mention BN Sports, who are supporting the podcast. Massive game this week on BN Sports.
The biggest.
Very close to
Biggest in the world.
very close to the hearts of mine and Chaz, and also today's guest Gavin. Celtic versus Rangers at Old Firm. Now, no doubt a lot of the Aussies will think Farmers League, but for me, still one of the biggest games in the world, regardless of how the season's going. Always has been, and I think this weekend is probably arguably been the biggest in years.
Aye.
What a point between them. Rangers got a game in hand. Goal difference is almost identical. It's at Ibrox, which is Rangers' home ground for anyone who doesn't know. And then what was like 8 games left? Must be 8 or 7 games.
Two before the split.
7 no?
So that's a question. Do you think it will have a big impact on where the season will go? Because obviously they sort of play each other one more time after this at Celtic Park.
That's right.
Do you reckon it will?
It's
Significant.
massive.
Massive. So again, if it goes to if they draw, who's it better for?
I think if they draw, it's better for Rangers.
Aye.
Because
The game in hand.
And the game in hand, yeah.
I think if the draw, it's better for Celtic. Just
so?
because the last Old Firm game of the season
Is
was
it Parkhead?
at
Yeah, of course.
I actually think that if Rangers hadn't dropped points to Motherwell the other week, I think it would have been Rangers win. It's pretty much all over because they were just in a run of constantly winning. But I think losing to Motherwell will have had a bit of an effect on the other teams being like, we can go and beat Rangers. Do you know what I mean?
No, I hope so, but
Celtic's been very, very inconsistent.
But even if Rangers win, mate, if Rangers win, that's massive for
Huge
maybe.
chance.
Oh,
You know what I mean? There's not many.
2 points clear by game in hand.
4 points, 2 points clear, right? By giving hand.
Psychologically as well.
Aye.
They can all slip up, of course, but that's
And Rangers have also got, after the split, the way it works in Scotland is, so there's 12 teams and then the 33 game mark, the top 6 split with the bottom 6, so the top 6 only play against each other and the bottom 6 play against each other, which is good, bad and indifferent how you look at it. I think it's not bad, I don't mind it, but Rangers have got a harder turnaround. I think you would go to, or Rangers, I'm saying yous, but the Rangers man, Rangers would go, I think they have to go to Tynecastle.
And Pittodrie.
Aberdeen won't even make top 6, but I think Celtic have like Hearts at home, Hibs at home. I think we'd have to go to Kilmarnock though, which would be a hard game. And then obviously Rangers go to Celtic Park. Tough. Celtic, I personally think Rangers are favourites for this weekend.
So you think Celtic can lose and still?
I think if Celtic lose, it's going to be very difficult. I think, however, I do think if they lose, I wouldn't give up hope because of the fixtures lie, and because
It's still tight.
if we beat them at Celtic Park, then you're going, well, you've got favourable fixtures. You probably need to win every game though.
Aye.
But
Whereas
they need to win every game every week though, mate.
pressure-wise, but I mean in terms of mathematically, I think they're going to have to. I can't see Rangers, because they've not really slipped up this year, but Celtic I think is a positive. I've got back probably the first time this season a full squad. Hatati's back.
Seen him, I watched him last night. He's
Callum McGregor's back. Callum Vickers.
Is he back? Are you sure?
This weekend.
McGregor?
This weekend.
Wow.
Oh, that's huge. Well, I'd imagine he's probably a wee bit. He could have come back last week, but like, let's just hold you back for the week for him.
I forgot him and Hatati.
Well, him, Hatati, Cameron Carter-Vickers is back. We've not played with those three against Rangers this year,
Right, okay, that's interesting.
and we've not lost any of the games.
Hatati looked
Very
quality.
good man.
Real Hatati,
He's a quality player.
He's a joke.
he won't be at Celtic. I think the only reason Celtic will keep him this year is because he's been injured so much this year.
I agree.
He makes it look so easy. He's just always got time in the ball. He's always like.
But then I like it because he doesn't mind the shite side of the game. Like he grafts and he doesn't mind the tackle. He works hard.
Aye.
It looks so easy to him though. Like it makes it look so easy.
But
Every part of the game makes it look easy. I don't think he'll be Celtic for long.
What's your prediction?
For the game, I think Rangers will win.
Of course you do. Biased. No Rangers fans watching this, mate.
I think we'll win.
Right,
I
okay.
think we'll win at Ibrox.
What do you think it's going to be?
I'll be tight. Like 2-1.
2-1. I'm going to go 1-0 Celtic.
I'm going to go 3-2 Celtic.
So, beIN Sports, Sunday night, 9 o'clock. If you've never watched one for them before, I highly recommend. This is one of the best ones you'll watch in terms of what it means.
Are you watching it in Cheers? Cheers, bar.
More than likely, I'm watching it in Cheers Bar. Scuffy Murphy. So recommend watching that on Sunday 9 o'clock, beIN Sports. And back to, we'll go straight back to, I suppose, Scotland style. We're going to talk about Gavin's career. Chaz, you want to kick off?
So, mate, youth football. You're from Aberdeen.
I am.
So, what was your kind of path there that got your move to Dundee?
It's interesting. Like I'm probably a late developer compared to like my peers.
Yeah.
I played with a really good group of players up in Aberdeen. My mate was signed with there was people at Chelsea, Man United, Celtic, Rangers, Aberdeen, and I'd been training with Aberdeen, been training with like a couple of clubs, but never really got anything. And then there was myself and another kid, Jerry O'Driscoll, who was playing. We were playing a cup final, and Jim Duffy actually came up and watched us. So he was Dundee manager at the time.
Yeah.
And the scout had sort of put him on to us, and just by chance he was up in Aberdeen. He came and watched the game. So it's like first team manager for Dundee watching a basically a youth football up in Aberdeen, like incredible. So he was there, and we done well, and we got offered to sign like YTS. So I pretty much had never signed any forms, like S forms or schoolboy.
What is, just for the people listening, what YTS and S form?
So S form's like a schoolboy form, as if it's probably like an academy form nowadays, equivalent. So you're at school, but you're training with a club. You're part of a club in the holidays, and you'll train with them. They'll keep looking on your progress. As I say, all my friends were signed up with lots of different clubs. I never had any of that, and I think it just made me keep fighting, desperate to try and get something. And then YTS is the youth training scheme. I think that's what it stands for. It's basically so between 16 and 18, the apprenticeship you do with the club. So you're full time with the club, training, doing the jobs around the grounds, looking after the first team. And then after that, it's obviously pro, but that 2 years went pretty much straight, left school, went YTS.
What jobs did you do around the ground?
We used to clean the boots, we used to do all the washing, drying of the kit, pack all the boots and the kit for the games, clean the stands, clean the dressing rooms every day. It was tough. It was interesting. The boys used to put the boots in the washing machine, and the washing machine used to break down every couple of days because they couldn't be bothered just getting all the mud off it. So they would just put them in the washing machine, which was the worst idea ever. But yeah, no, it was good grounding. Good grounding.
I think that's something that you always hear people talk about is missed from the ground. There was a funny story. I think it was about Rangers manager, Everton manager as well, Walter Smith, and I think it was him anyway, where one of the young boys they had jobs to do around the ground, and at the end of the day they hadn't done them properly or whatever, so the gaffer's like, or maybe John Brown or something, said, stay back and you're going to have to wash the gaffer's car. So that meant the boys missed their trains to go home. He's like, and also you're going to wash the team bus. So obviously the boys are, this is a joke. So they start doing whatever. And then for whatever reason, I think they've not done, or somebody's come out and they've sprayed them with a hose, one of the coaches, as if like, bit of banter or whatever. So he's like, is that funny, aye? Is that follow me? And one of the boys is like, oh no. He's like, takes him through back into the stadium, walks him right round the ground. So the ground's like pissing wet rain, it's Glasgow obviously, so it's walking through, soaking wet, walks right round the pitch, right up all the steps. So he walks right round the whole, pretty much right round the outside of the stadium bit, the concourse, walks him through, so he walks into the office area, walks him right along. So he's walking for about 6 or 7 minutes, then he just stops and goes, right, you know what the job is? He's like, see all those muddy footsteps we just went through? Clean every one of them up. So we can clean every single footstep.
Oh no.
Absolute stitch up, man.
That's brutal. We had a nightmare once, so I think it was my first year YTS, so got the Christmas break off, and then didn't normally do that, like we were getting 2 weeks off, and then, there were obviously games over Christmas for the first team, so we packed all the kit for all the games, and it was all set, everyone was all set, so we were all back home for Christmas, buzzing with your family and that, 2 weeks. And on Boxing Day, the first team turn up at the stadium for their game, and there's no shin pads packed into the boots. No. So they had to borrow shin pads from the opposition. Phone call that night, see you tomorrow. That was it, cancelled. And then, so we used to stay in digs, but the lady who's made the meals and did the cleaning, she was off for 2 weeks, so we went to like fend for ourselves for like 2 weeks. There was no heating in the flat or anything.
At Christmas?
At Christmas, mate. It was horrible.
In Scotland?
It was the hardest thing ever. And we were just like expecting 2 weeks off. We got like 2 days because we mucked up.
What did you have to do apart just go and train?
Just train, yeah. Train. And then there used to be a track round then, so they make you run around the track. The Greyhound track. It was just wow.
But good times as well, but
definitely. I mean, in terms of instilling discipline, amazing. And knowing your place,
respect,
first team dressing room, don't go in and out knocking the door and asking. It's character building for sure.
I think it gives a bit of respect in terms of, you were talking about earlier on about the Wanderers, how they don't care. We don't know if they don't care, but it wouldn't hurt them as much not winning the NPL because their aspirations to get in the first team. But having that little bit of, I want to get in that first team changing room. Yeah. That's like a prize, almost like I'm in a changing room now. I've made it.
Totally.
You don't really have that anymore, do you? It's hard to do with the council grounds and all the rest of it, but it'd be good to have something.
You wouldn't not get away with. It's almost like child labour, isn't it? Really, like in terms of the apprenticeship. But now there's no way that it would be allowed to have like your job now is you clean the dirty boots. Like there'd be some sort of.
I don't think like if you said to a group of under 16s, that's your jobs. they would whinge and they complain all that, but I don't think anyone would complain.
No, I don't think
all the time. I think the issue would come from people on the outside.
But that's what it is. It's like illegal. From a legal standpoint, they can't do it. They can't actually install them to do it, which is crazy because, like you say, the boys would probably do it.
No bother.
They would do it, but it's like
good fun.
It was the best
some
times
laugh
ever. It
rides,
was the best times ever. It was great. It was tough, definitely tough, and you're trying to forge a career in football as well. So it's hard, but in terms of setting you up for not just football but for life.
I also think it's like you are working extremely hard towards something. Like you're aspiring to do something, and you know that this is part of that grounding in the process to get to where you want to get to. Whereas now it's like you hear like Chelsea sign a 17-year-old player.
He's in a Gucci bag and he's swaggers in.
$100,000 a week. Like,
it's generations change though. Like like we'd be scared about going to that first team dressing room without knocking and asking, have a respect for them. Kids nowadays walking in, swaggering about. They're the best. It's not a bad. I don't think it's not particularly a bad thing, but it's just it sort of lacks the sort of route and the goal, like you say, to get to that level and having that respect for the people who have got there already. Don't have that so much now. Really good.
Well, I think it comes more of a life. You get a life experience, so you don't make it as a football player, which unfortunately many people won't in that circumstance. But at least when you come away from it, like you said, you've got the life values of I learned discipline, respect. I understand how hard it actually was, how they've had to do this as well. I think that's a tough thing. But anyway, that's a different conversation. So I done the debut, 18 years old.
Yeah, 18 years old as a sub, and then started to make that. I think I played against Park Thistle. Firhill, at Firhill.
How did you go that game?
Done alright that game. It was only on for about 10 minutes that game, and then it started the week later.
So that was you from then on?
No, I did start the next week. I actually played left back my first game. My first start ever for Dundee was at left back. Bizarrely enough.
Were you a centre midfielder at that point?
Centre midfielder.
I think you were up and down that one.
Yeah, I was like a machine at that age. That'll change over time. But, so I played left back, and Jim Duffy, who was the manager, was actually playing centre back in the same game. So the manager played in the same game. So, and he was a phenomenal player. He had a really bad knee. Tough player, but a really, really good football player. And I played left back. I can remember it. Remember I used to get the ratings in the Sun. So I got a 9 in the Sun. I was buzzing, mate. It said the next Stuart Pearce. I thought I played left back again in my life. I never played left back again in my life.
9?
A 9, mate. I was flying.
That is very unusual, a 9, because usually get a lot of 7s.
And 8's a good.
8's a very good.
I was buzzing.
I actually wish you still had that. I know you get it on the apps now, but I used to love checking that in the paper, mainly because you disagreed with half it. But it was great to be your sponsor gave you.
But it was strange, so my route was really different. So basically the first year at youth team I struggled massively, right? And you know at the end of the first year you get brought in and they basically tell you if you're getting kept on or you're getting released. So I'm thinking I've got no chance.
I struggled performance-wise.
So funnily enough, right, I live in Sydney, I'm from Aberdeen. I was homesick in Dundee, mate, from Aberdeen, which is like 50 minutes away, but obviously just young and just not being out of the house. And so I left the house at 16, YTS. And in a group of people from your area in Glasgow, like more gallus and more like cocky and that, and I was like more like quiet and reserved. So I struggled with the whole dynamic. Plus the football wasn't going particularly well. I was struggling with football. And then just towards the end of the season, I'd started like getting a couple of goals and started doing a little bit better. And basically they said, so I went to this meeting the last day of the season. I was like 10th in, there was about 9 people came out and they were all getting released. I was like, oh my God, this is horrendous. So I went in and they just said, listen, we're going to keep you on. We've sort of noticed a few little things the last few weeks. Go away and work on this, this and this. So that summer I was like, I'm so happy that I'd been kept on and given the opportunity to go again for second year YTS. I went away in the summer, worked on all those things, came back and I was flying. So I played all youth games, all reserve games and made my debut.
So what did you do? What sort of things were you doing?
So it was more about I had to work on fitness, heading and touch basically. So just
that heat as well?
That heat, basically, not the best timing. So basically just worked on those things and came back. It was more like, it wasn't even so much that, I think it was more just the confidence that they sort of seen something in the belief. The belief was there. Yeah. So the next season I was flying, played all the games.
Brilliant, mate. That's what I wrote down here. The 98-99 season was when you started playing more consistently, first team football. When you weren't playing, who was in front of you and who were you kind of looking at and learning off of?
So the first few years I was there, so Martin Weekhorst, he was phenomenal for that. I mean, top.
He ended up with Ian Barry syndrome, didn't he?
He did, but you could see him like as a centre midfielder. like
Danish?
elegant, Danish, tall, like everything, touch, physicality. He was brilliant. And obviously got to move to Celtic.
I didn't know he came to Dundee.
He was Dundee, mate.
Oh,
Yeah, he was
not?
Dundee, yeah. No, he went Dundee to
I
Celtic.
thought Celtic just signed him from someone.
No, Dundee to Celtic. So he was obviously a really good role model. There were some people towards the end of their career, Jim McInally, really experienced. I actually played in the middle of the park with me and Chip Charnley.
Right.
What a player, man.
It's a lunatic.
What a player. Honestly, mate. Like, so I was just the runner, get the ball back and just give it to Chico. Chico would just do incredible things, mate. He was a phenomenal football player.
Oh, wow.
He should have done so much better. You're not saying he did bad, but with his talent,
Enjoyed his life too much.
There's a lot of players like that, isn't there?
yeah, loads. But these were the types of players that was in front of me.
Pass. So after 5 years of playing regularly, big move comes about. January, signed for Rangers.
It is.
250 grand.
Aye.
Decent money.
Bargain.
That's the deposit for a house in like Oggerloga.
That's it, man.
How did that come about, the Rangers move?
So there'd been interest previously. So even when Dick Advocat was the manager, so I'd sort of spoke to my agent before, and so there was interest there. And then obviously Alan McLeish went, and sort of he'd reached out to my agent a couple of times, and then Dundee we'd went through administration. So like basically they got rid of loads of players. I was kept on. I was probably the biggest asset at that time. Not huge asset, but an asset. So I got kept on, and then basically they knew they could come in and sort of get us for cheap. I was out of contract in the summer, so it made sense to go at that point. And that's basically how it came about.
You were, when you signed for Rangers, that squad was not absolutely stacked.
Ridiculous.
Was it the Boer brothers there?
Yeah. So basically, I went and done a medical, right? I'd done my medical with Rangers. I'd had a niggling hammy just towards the end of my career at Dundee, and then went and done my medical, done all the tests. I'd never had MRIs or scans or anything because I'd played pretty much every week for my whole career until I was that age. Never had any injury. I was very lucky, and then done my medical, got all the tests, and then I had to go to the training ground to go to Murray Park for just out on the pitch, kicking the ball and just with the physios just to make sure it was fit. And then so the other two injured players at that time was Michael Moles and Ronal de Boer.
Oh my God.
So we're doing like technique and passing, and then we're doing skills. I was like, I'm massively out of my depth here. And I was just like, just get proper concentrating, like just get through this. Don't look like a total muppet with these absolute legends. I managed to get through it.
The Boer, I mean, that's the thing. Obviously, some people listen, or most people listen, probably won't be. They see Celtic and Rangers as they are now, but in that era, Celtic 2002 had just been to the cup final against Jose Mourinho's Porto. Yeah. Rangers team, the De Boer brothers, Michael Moles. I mean, many people know him. He was comically good. But they ended up going to Sunderland.
I'm sure, actually. I think he did.
But injuries killed him, didn't he? He was phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. Who else was in that team?
Shot Avaladze.
Kinija?
No, Kinija wasn't there when I was there. He'd left by that point. I played with him at Dundee though. He's the best player I've ever played with.
Was he in the Maradona squad?
Yeah.
That's mental.
He's Maradona's mate. Was he? What a player he was by
he was
outrageous. But like, so Arteta was there.
Yeah.
Shot Avaladze, Fernando Rickson, both the Boer twins.
That is
phenomenal.
I mean, Arteta and the Boers. That is phenomenal. Could you drop Arteta a text just now? But alright, what's happening, Gav?
Nah, not at all. Nah. Arteta was quite, I'm going to say arrogant, but I'm going to say arrogant. But yeah, he's not kind of standoffish, but obviously a frighteningly good player. Frighteningly good player. Like twisting and turning, very good player. But nearly everyone, they were all right. Michael Moles was a top guy. Still keep in touch with Mikey now and again.
Do you? Yeah. Is there anyone else you keep in touch with?
I'm still close with Berkey, because obviously he's one of the good mates. I know, keep in touch with some of the boys, but not all of them.
Yeah. I think that Rangers team and that Celtic team, because Celtic had obviously Henrik Larsson at that time, Moravchik, Chris Sutton, John Hartson,
Big Bobo.
Big guy.
Petrov.
Still in Petrov. That was ended up with Aston Villa, that was a great time. I mean, that's probably Kinija, Frank de Boer, Ronald de Boer.
I've been very lucky.
So training, I mean, standard at training a joke?
Yeah. So like, whereas if I'm at Dundee, towards that time of my career just before I left, I'd have been one of the best players at Dundee, like confident in my own ability to run the show and training.
I remember watching.
And then you go the other way to Rangers, and you're like, oh, this is next.
What was your first session like?
You know what? It was actually alright. I was confident. I was confident in my own ability at that point. I've been played like 200 games in the top league, so I was confident in my own ability, but still, it is a jump. And I'd been away with Scotland as well, so again, you'd sort of seen that level of player around different clubs. So I was confident in that environment. I was
alright. 2-3 days later, you played against Celtic.
Straight away. So
your debut was against Celtic.
What's
that? What was the score like?
We've got beat 3-0.
How was that like going into that environment? Was it a bit mental?
You've been there before, haven't you? Obviously with Dundee.
I've been at Celtic, but this is different. It's totally different. And then obviously it was my debut as well, but I got injured after 30 minutes.
30 minutes or so? Hamstring?
Got my hammy. So I had this dodgy hammies.
2-0 down and my hammies went.
You know what? I actually burst into the box against Neil Lennon.
Yeah.
And that's when I tweaked it after about 15 minutes. Right. I just thought, I can't come off here. But it was obviously my debut. I was like, no. And then went to make another movement. I said, I'm going to have to come off. And then that just sort of set the tone for my Rangers career, which was really frustrating.
Because actually, was looking at it and it says that from 2004 to 2006, basically, you were on the sidelines.
Yeah. So I missed two full calendar years. So basically, done my hammy that debut, which, as I said, set the tone. Came back, played like 11 games, and then done my ACL.
Your knee,
up at Tannadice. And then so I got surgery. Then as I was rehabbing from my ACL, I had a problem with my other knee. So my quadricep tendon, I needed to get that shaved, but nobody knew what it was. So I had to ended up going to some mad scientist in Sweden. He saved my career. A guy in Sweden saved my career basically. So he was a tendon specialist. He worked with the Swedish national team in basketball in the Olympics and stuff. Yeah. So this guy, our club doctor, who I'm still good mates with, he sort of sourced this guy. I'd seen so many different surgeons. They'd all tried cortisone injections or whatever, loads of different stuff, and nothing. I just couldn't get better. And the guy says, "Listen, come over and see me." Went to see him in the outback of Sweden. I can't even tell you what it was. Seen him, he says, "Listen, it's not looking great." Got scans. He says, "I'm going to give you one injection to try it. Try this, and if it doesn't work, come back in 2 weeks and we'll operate." And that's what happened basically. I had to go back in 2 weeks, got the operation. So they call it debriding. So they debrided my quadricep tendon.
What?
Debrided. So it was really thick.
Yeah.
And they basically just shave both sides of it.
Right.
And then, then you've got to inject yourself for ages after.
Oh, wow.
It was mad. So I was out for about 2 years.
So what did he do that other surgeons and doctors
just because he was a tendon specialist. It was similar to Craig Gordon. So Craig Gordon had a problem with his tendon. It's similar sort of idea. Where it's not a particularly normal football injury. It's more basketball. So you sort of got to look out with the football fraternity in terms of specialists. And this guy basically done it and taught me how to give us the program for getting back. So it was a lot of eccentric stretching with dumbbells. I had a wooden plank I had to use every day just to get the power and strength back in it. And then I came back,
Is that your nickname at Rangers, the wooden plank?
First came back, I was getting Celtic.
Was it?
I swear.
15 minutes?
1-1 that was.
Was it?
Because actually, one of my question was at the end of that, how was it mentally, that period of your career?
Yeah, really tough. Really,
Did you get a lot of support off of Rangers?
I was lucky I was at Rangers when it happened. Because if you're at another club, that doesn't have as much staff, I had basically, not a dedicated physio, but they had 3 physios for the first team. There's 2 physios for the youth. So you've always got someone looking after you. The biggest part that was hard to take mentally was I'd worked so hard to get to a club like that. Yeah. And then beautiful training ground, amazing players. I'm looking to win trophies and enjoy the next part of my career. And it just bang, stops. And then you've got I'd never had any injuries. So again, getting used to that. Just physio every day, got your program and just dedicated. That's one thing I'm professional. I'm dedicated to my craft. I was do this, no problem. Do it. So I've done everything right. But watching the boys out in the training field every day when I'm in the gym, looking at them, just so frustrating. It's really hard. And it's so strange because it sort of Rangers in the middle of my career, no injuries before it, pretty much no injuries after it. It was all condensed, which to be honest, you'd probably take in your career
100%.
over a 20-year career. You'd probably take, but that's my peak and one of the biggest clubs. It was just frustrating.
Yeah, I think you take it for granted. I'm sure everyone does when you're seeing it training today or training tonight. You can't be bothered, or the session's rubbish, and you're complaining whatever might be happening. But as soon as you get injured, you take it all back in heart.
Totally.
You're go back out there. Don't care how crap it is, get me out there.
Yeah, totally.
It's tough. Then you went through all that and you became captain at one point.
Yeah, that was interesting. So strange. Like, so basically, Alan McLeish had moved on. Paul Le Guen got appointed as the manager.
He was at Lyon, wasn't he, Paul Le Guen?
So he was like, to be honest, it was a massive coup for Rangers
was
at that
that,
point because Real Madrid wanted him.
Yeah.
And Rangers managed to get him. So everyone was buzzing, but it was so different to what we're used to. Like, growing up in Scotland and having Scottish coaches. I had Italian coaches at Dundee as well, which again was another experience. But, you know, then Paul Le Guen being French came in and just a different method. Like, even stretching in the warm-ups, you weren't allowed to talk. You had to be fully concentrated. So, you know, like we'd have banter and proper, no talking.
Oh,
wow.
wow.
Yeah, you know, really weird, really strange, and so different to what we'd had before. He brought a lot of players in, and it was really tough for him. We didn't get particularly good results, and then he sort of fell out with Barry Ferguson, who was the captain at that point, and sort of he put me in as captain, which was totally bizarre because I wasn't even playing. So you think about it, like, so he's taking the club captaincy off like a Rangers legend.
Walking in the vision room, Gavin Rae.
I was always in the squad, so I was back fit, but I wasn't playing regular. Played now and again, but I wasn't a regular player.
Yeah.
And he gave, like, I'm a professional, dedicated to my craft. So I think he liked that part of it.
Right, okay.
But I also think he was trying to make a point to the club, to the supporters.
I'm in charge.
I'm in charge. But I got caught in the crossfire basically in the middle. So it was the hardest thing.
See, when you were given captaincy, was there any like wee snidey remarks in it, like the players?
Not for the players.
No,
It was always sound with the players.
Were you reluctant to take it?
You can't say no. Like,
no,
you know what I
I
mean? If the manager of the club's
no,
give you an
100%.
opportunity, you know what I mean? It's hard to say no. You could sort of argue, but I was again confident. All right, okay, no worries. And then
Did you speak to Barry Ferguson about
Straight
it?
away, he was brand new. All the boys were great. But honestly, that night, so we had Motherwell the next day. That night before that game, that's the most nervous I've ever been in football
really?
ever.
Oh, wow.
I didn't really used to get nervous. I used to always just think like, oh, it's a game of football.
Even more than the World Cup final?
Even more than Waratah, yeah. Even more than Waratah, yeah. But yeah, so I never really I wasn't even that bothered about like games normally, but that one I was nervous for because there was proper spotlight. I hadn't been playing, so I've got to first make sure I perform well. Also, you're captain of one of the biggest clubs in the world. It was nuts.
At that time, I know people probably listening like Rangers, biggest club. At that time, Celtic and Rangers were huge. They're still big clubs in terms of fan base.
I don't care what everyone says, mate. They're two of the biggest clubs in the world. They just are.
Yeah.
Okay, they play in Scotland, and that's not going to change. They're two of the biggest clubs in the world. You go anywhere in the world.
No, of course,
you
you
get
see
Celtic shirts, Rangers shirts. They're massive clubs, mate.
I agree 100%, of course, but I think sometimes context is needed for those 100%. Conversations. I'm still interested in the Paul Le Guen stuff.
Yeah.
So new gaffer comes in is always tough, or good, because if you're not playing, you go fresh start. If you are playing, oh shit, I need to impress. What else did they do that was weird or different from like a standard westernised?
So, for instance, from what we're used to, like, so say after a game, we've got a bad result or not a great result, we wouldn't say anything. We'd come in and say, don't worry about it, boys, see you Monday. We're like, what?
But then, do you think that is just the difference of a Rangers and a Celtic? Because at Rangers and Celtic, you have to win.
Yeah,
right?
definitely that plays part of it.
Yeah, because in Leon,
Exactly. But even at Dundee, like if we were rubbish and we got beat, the manager would still come in and tear strips off you. Yeah. Or at least tell you emotionally what went wrong.
Again, I think is that a Scottish mindset.
That's what I mean. We weren't used to that, and it was such a change. It was so different.
I think nowadays that's quite common because a lot of people know the emotion's so high after the game.
They'll talk to him on the Monday.
I talk to him just let us all calm down and think about it because right now it's going to end up chaos.
In Scotland, no one cared if it ended up chaos.
That's it.
And what like pre-season? What's his pre-season like?
Pre-season was tough, but not like it wasn't the toughest I've had.
You know what?
Yeah, it was ball work, it was fitness work. You know what was the worst? Not the worst, but on a Monday, so play Saturday, Sunday, whatever, so your day off or the next day you were in, the first thing you would do is a 6k run around the training ground.
Just slow control.
No, like decent clip, and then train.
It's a bust.
So you're like, that's actually, I think that's where it stemmed, like him falling out with Barry Ferguson, because Fergie was just come back from a hip hop. And he's just expecting me to come in and just do this, no worries, and then train. He's like, mate, I've been doing it for months. And then, so again, that's just really strange.
And silence, just jogging 6K.
The thing is, he was fit as any, he was a machine, so he was always at the front.
He done like those Sahara
He done ultra marathons and all that, through the desert. Yeah, so you're like, oh, come on. To be fair, like, he seemed like he still play it.
Oh, he's still good. Where is he now, Paul Gwen?
Yeah.
Done?
He done like a few like national team jobs. He was at Cameroon, I'm sure he was at like a few.
I mean, I remember at the time when he got that Rangers job, I obviously didn't know a ton about him, I was only like 16, but I remember coming from Leon were a big club as well, but going, there was genuinely a shout of Madrid were interested in chatting to him, and then when Rangers got him, it was like, that's it. Because Celtic had just come out of Seville with the European Cup finals, Rangers had a good squad, I think they're going to start to push on in Europe, and then it was the biggest catastrophe.
It was just results. Like we say, you've got to win every week. At these clubs, you've got to win every week.
So then you left there, mate.
Yep.
Why did you leave? On a free, why did you leave?
Yeah, so I'd been there for 3.5 years. Obviously, hadn't went particularly well. By that time, Walter Smith was manager, who was great. I got on really well with him, but I wasn't playing as regular as what I'd like.
Did you play Champions League with Rangers?
Played Champions League with Rangers, yeah.
Against who?
Villarreal.
Was it just the one game you played?
Well, I was on the squad, but like played.
Who was the main man at Villarreal at that point?
Riquelme.
I was going to say it was Riquelme then.
Riquelme, he's the best performance I've ever seen live from a footballer. He'd been out for 3 months. His game at Ibrox, so he'd been out for 3 months, came back, and he was outrageous. Outrageous.
He was so good,
He was quality.
He'd have been Canadian's pal as well, wasn't he?
I would have been
Riquelme was
a joke.
What a player.
He was like world class.
Yeah, he was.
There's not a ton of those players anymore.
Villarreal, man.
He was. And Senna.
But when you were there, Forlan played as well.
I done, after the game, you get drug tested. So Diego Forlan, Senna, me, and I can't remember who else it was. We were in the room doing the drug test after the game, which was nuts because I only played a little bit of it and was in the squad, but like he played the full game and just came in and like proper hydrated, straight in. Pee out. He was gone. I was like, how's he done that? Ripped the shreds, mate.
Oh, is it?
Absolutely ripped.
Because he's full of gear.
Probably. That's what I was thinking.
He was. Who did he go to? Obviously, Man United didn't work out. But remember, he had that year where he scored like 4 goals, 3 goals, 2 goals every single game. Was that Atletico Madrid? Was that?
Yeah, Atletico.
He scored at a barrel load. He went to the Super Cup final, scored 4 against Chelsea, I think it was. He was phenomenal, man. And then probably, I'm assuming was probably some of the highlights of your career, going to England to play football.
Yeah. So like I said, Walter I actually got offered another year at Rangers, but I just hadn't played enough, and I was just keen to I'd had the injuries. I was thinking a bit of freshness. Yeah. So and I'd played so many games in Scotland. I was like just looking to try something new. And I had a couple of options, Norwich and Cardiff, and Cardiff ended up going there, which turned out to be an amazing move. I was there for 4 years. New things, new stadiums, new grounds, playing the Championship, and just that freshness. So it was good. Like I'd played.
Good city as well.
Great city, yeah. So our kids were born there. They were born in Cardiff when I was there. But it was like I'd played like 35, 40 games for Rangers over the time I was there because of injuries, and I played 55 games my first year at Cardiff. Wow. So it was just like I was buzzing with
that. Was Championship, wasn't it?
Championship, yeah.
That was, but their schedule's ruthless, man. It's like Tuesday, Saturday.
So, but that was good for me, like
in games.
Just thinking, injuries are gone. I'm back. I'm back. I'm playing every single game pretty much.
Who was the main players outside yourself? Obviously, who was the main man there?
So we had a really good squad. We had Steve McPhail, who'd been at Leeds. Peter Whittingham, sadly no longer with us, unfortunately, and Aaron Ramsey was coming through. Joe Ledley.
Joe Ledley was a good player.
Joe Ledley, Chris Gunter. Darren Purse was there the first year I went there, Big Tomo, Kev McNaughton, so we had a great squad.
Good squad, aye. Done brilliant there.
In fact, the first year I went there, 3 big names I missed it. Or 2, Robbie Fowler. Robbie Fowler, Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank and Trevor Sinclair.
Now you've played with some players, man.
That's a joke. Yeah. I can't believe you forgot them.
Neither.
You've played with some cracking players. Your 5-a-side team would be no bad.
Yeah.
Nah, it's an NPL only 5-a-side team.
That's right. That's good, man. That is some. Because Hasselbank, obviously, every time someone mentions Hasselbank, they always say his finishing was a joke.
Yeah.
Obviously, you know if you watch him, but he had him training.
Yeah, I mean,
just all the same, obviously.
Just that Mon though, Jimmy Mon, proper Mon, but good, really good player, obviously. Set high standards for everyone. He was great.
How Robbie Fowler's finishing?
Outrageous. But Robbie had the problem, a couple of hip injuries when he was at Cardiff that year, so he was struggling a little bit. Didn't really play that much. And Trevor was quality, overall quality.
Trevor Sinclair's overhead kick after Mercy to the bar. One of the best I've ever seen. He's a great player. And then FA Cup, talk about that.
Yeah, so that was the first year I was down there, so we'd had a decent run, played like a non-league team to begin with. We were actually down 1-0, Kev McNaughton scored an own goal. And he's like basically got bundled in the net and some guys threw a hot dog off his head. We're just thinking like, wow, where to get beat from?
Did you eat it?
There's a company called, a club called Chasetown, and luckily we got back, and Ramsey scored his first goal that game. First professional goal, I'm pretty sure, that game. Him and Whitman
How old
scored.
had he been at that point, Kev?
16, 17.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so, managed to get through that. We beat Middlesbrough, we beat Wolves. And then that was the year that Barnsley put Chelsea and Liverpool out.
Oh, wow.
And we beat them in the semi.
Beat Barnsley in the semi?
Beat Barnsley in the semi.
And what was... So, and you played Portsmouth was in the final?
Portsmouth in the final.
Canny played for them, didn't he?
Kind of scored a goal.
I seen you get man in the
We had a
match.
stacked team though.
Portsmouth
Team was incredible.
Yeah,
So we had David James,
Uh-huh.
Distan,
Someone this time.
Lasana Diarra,
Oh, wow.
Glenn Johnson, Nico Cranchar,
Oh, wow.
Right, okay.
Crouchy. Like that's basically that group. They had a phenomenal team. Phenomenal.
And that's it. I don't know those
Simon
names.
Terry, that up.
Simon Terry was there. I don't know if he was there when you
There
played.
for that game.
Okay.
But he was superb.
But yeah, no, it was good. Obviously disappointed to lose the final.
1-0 finish?
1-0, yeah. Lost the Scottish Cup final 1-0. Lost the FA Cup final
What,
1-0.
have you won a trophy?
Won my last ever game.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
promotion?
last ever game. Yeah, promotion. Won a championship in Scotland. Yeah.
Championship. aye.
Winning the championship.
That's my
And that was your last game?
Last ever game.
So you didn't get the salary increase?
No, I actually had another year's contract.
Ah, okay.
That automatically kicked in if we got promoted.
Right.
And I just thought, nah, I'm done.
Done.
Like, finishing on a great way. I was 36. I was like, yeah, I'm done. So I went out and mowed
So
it
say if you volunteer, so say for your contract, or that happens, and you chuck it, do you still get on with your contract?
No.
No,
I'm
you
basically
volunteer.
walking away from my contract, yeah.
Ah, okay. I mean, winning the championship is one of those things you see, like, from a club perspective, obviously individual brilliant, but from a club perspective, because the money involved, the whole, imagine playing championship football the whole year, playing 50 odd games, and be like next year we're playing against Man U.
No,
it's
it's
a
Scottish
championship.
Championship
Dundee.
at Dundee.
Rubbish. Rubbish. I thought it was a Cardiff you
No,
got.
no, my last game was at Dundee.
So you went back, so you did, aye.
Aye,
Right,
did you
okay.
went back? You went Dundee, Aberdeen, Dundee.
Yeah. 3 times I played for Dundee.
Was it always your? Did you always a part of you want to play for Aberdeen?
Of course, yeah. That was a club I grew up supporting. They were unbelievable when I was growing up in the 80s. The team of the decade, basically, winning all the cups and stuff in the league. So
Aberdeen, man, again, another thing people won't realise, listen, they were massive.
massive club.
Alex Ferguson, Gaffer, European Cup winners.
Beat Real Madrid, mate, final.
That's nuts, isn't it?
Incredible, yeah. So yeah, and then obviously he moved to Man U, and that's why I support Man U.
Are you a Man U fan?
I am.
I don't even know that.
I am, yeah.
So how many teams do you support? Dundee, Aberdeen, Cardiff, Rangers?
Just Man U.
Just Man U? You know what
I
I mean?
like all these other clubs.
Aye. So if someone said who you support, you're a Man U fan?
Aye.
Aye. Is that because Alex Ferguson?
Yeah.
Aye.
Aberdeen and Man U, but yeah.
Aye.
Man U's my English.
Well, and then then you made your big move.
Massive move. A core.
I go with me.
Aye. So I've written here, right. Final season Dundee, you won. Moved to Australia. What were your first impressions of first, let's say, Hakoah and being in Sydney's East?
Well, I'd been in Sydney loads of times previously, not living but visiting.
Yeah.
So every time it was close season back in the UK, we would come here to visit my mother-in-law and family and stuff with my wife. So the first time I came to Australia was 2002, and then so I've been back and forth a lot of times. So I sort of knew it. I actually trained with Hakoah to keep fit during the off season because my brother-in-law was a coach. So I used to go out and train and keep ticking over before I went back to the UK. And so yeah, it was so strange how it happened. Like basically, retired in May, emigrated September from Aberdeen to Sydney, and then the day I arrived, my brother-in-law, who was still the coach at Hakoah, Mark Robertson's my brother-in-law, he was the head coach at Hakoah for years, got them up through the ranks, and arrived on the Friday, and he says, "Oh, by the way, I actually registered you for Hakoah in June, just in case we made finals or you got back here in time."
Okay.
I was like, "Oh, like you could have told me." Luckily, I was still training with a couple of mates back in the UK, and we've actually got a semi-final on Sunday. I was like, "What?" He says, "Yeah, now you can play. I've registered. You're fine." So I basically arrived on the Friday. The Saturday night, we played a charity game at Hensley.
Right.
Corica was playing, Kalach, Simon Hill, the presenter.
It's a small pitch as well.
Aye, Hensley, I know. Wow. So arrived on Friday, charity game on the Saturday. He played me the full game, the charity game. And then the game was the Sunday. I was like, so I thought I'd be on the bench, come on. Started the game, mate, played the full game.
How did you go in? Did you win?
Yeah, we beat Northbridge 2-1, beat Jonas Northbridge team.
2-1.
He scored actually, he scored that game. So yeah, won that 2-1, and then obviously you get the break and then you got the grand final.
Yeah.
So 2 weeks later we won the grand final against Northbridge again. because they played the other semi, and
and
then they won it, and then we beat them in the final. So that was 2 weeks straight into NPL football.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it was class.
That's mad. So then that got you promoted.
I think they'd already been promoted. This was the grand final.
Club championship.
Yeah. So I think they'd already been promoted to the next league up. So
Right.
What year was that?
Going into NPL 2, so 2014.
I'm pretty sure. So my first year in Sydney, I signed for Spirit,
Yep.
and we had a pre-season cup, and it was at Christie Park, and Christie Park was grass.
Aye.
I remember arriving at the pitch, and I walked in the pitch, and I'm like, is that Gavin Rae? I'm like, nah, it can't be. And then I was just getting warmed up or whatever else, and then because I think that pre-season cup was like there was back-to-back games,
Yeah.
so I think you were playing before us. Can't remember who we were playing against. And I was sitting there saying, and then I heard you shout something. I'm like, what's up? Why is to me? I didn't really know what NPL football was. I just came from America at this point. I'm like, I was thinking, what the hell? Because you looked obviously different as well. So I'm like, what's happening here? How's he playing here? So I think I've only seen 10 minutes he play or something like that. But I remember seeing that for the first time, thinking you're playing. I mean, that was a year where Yous got promoted and Spirit won the league, I think, and Tigers won the finals. I think that was that year. Was that the same year Yous got to the final? Did they beat you in the final? No, they won the final. The Tigers.
Yeah.
Tigers.
I played that game.
Did you?
Sydney United.
Aye.
Wesley played.
Oh, aye.
Yeah, Wesley played that game. Yeah, we lost that game. I remember that. Yeah.
Because Yous get promoted, Spirit won the league, and
That's
Tigers won the.
Yeah, so we got promoted through the club championship up to NPL 1. Right?
That's right.
Yeah. So that's how we got up to NPL 1 when I was at Hakoah.
Yeah, okay, that was the year I was talking about.
Yeah. So that was my first year. I was still playing and assistant coach. So I was player assistant coach to Robo that first year.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, it's good.
Aye, mad Dan. So how long were you at Hakoah for?
5 years in total.
You played for the 5 years, did you?
I played 5 years. I played
So what was how old were you in the last year?
like 40, 41.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and I could have kept going.
His heat map was at centre circle by that point.
No, he didn't even move me. I played centre back. And the last couple of years I played centre back.
Ah, okay.
Because what happened was I was player assistant coach 2 years, and then Robbo left to go to the UK,
Right.
and then I became player coach for 2 years, and then the last year at Hakoah I was just coach because the club kind of wanted me to stop playing and just concentrate on being on the side and make decisions from the side. So yeah, I stopped playing that last year, but up until then I was playing.
See, I think I've actually asked this before, but coming from such a big, I mean, you had a cracking career, and some of the players have mentioned is mental, but when you started playing NPL football, especially like 1 or 2 years you got a feel for it, how did you actually find the standard?
I always think when I came over and started playing, there's some really good individual players.
Yeah.
Like technical ability of a lot of players here is good. Like, because obviously, like growing up in Scotland, there's lots of Scottish and English players, majority, and there's some foreign players. Whereas I think in NPL you've got all the different sort of nationalities from all the ethnicities that have came to Australia.
Yeah.
So you've got the South American players, you've got Eastern European players. So it's like, I thought individually and technically it's pretty good, to be honest.
Yeah.
But on the whole, obviously, if I can still play at 40, 41, then that's telling you I've obviously came from a standard that I can still play to that age quite easily.
Yeah.
So overall, it's good.
Did you find it easy? But
Aye. If I'm honest,
aye.
Well,
It's class,
You
man.
should have though.
exactly. Yeah.
I know, but I just love that because I always say, I think I've had this discussion many times, but I always think, like, say I go to training, say I just turn up to Hakoah, my first game, I'm playing for Hakoah and I go, oh, this guy Gavin, the team, man, he's superb, brilliant. And then you go, right, well, that's the guy to end his career. And then you go, right, okay, we play against Sydney FC in a friendly. Their centre midfielder's like 21, oh, he's next level. And you go, oh, well, we played a friendly against Cardiff. Next level, okay, we play against a guy from Wolves, and you go a level above, and you go, how good is like Messi? Like,
ridiculous.
I mean, because if you're in an NPL going, this is easy, it's a bit slow motion, you've always got time, you can pick a pass, or he's not on it. You think about Messi, be like playing with you.
Definitely.
That's what I mean, and then playing with us.
There's definitely levels to it.
It's just mental.
It's crazy. But even I was a professional football player.
Yeah.
Played, good
Top
in that
players, mate.
game.
You play with world class players, mate.
Yeah, and I've played in games where I've definitely felt that with other people from other teams.
Yeah.
We played Arsenal in the FA Cup. We drew 1-1 at home. Ross McCormack nearly scored the winner in the last minute, hit the bar. So replay back to Emirates, and for some reason Dave Jones, who was the manager, and he only always played 4-4-2, like he was old school 4-4-2, right? Nobody goes that open against Arsenal at the Emirates. It was lucky it was not 10-0.
Oh, right.
Fabregas in the middle, could not get near him, mate. I played like, say, by this time 300-400 games, right?
Aye.
You look at these players and just the levels. So like when you're talking about Messi and Ronaldo, it's outrageous. It's incredible.
My point being is, I can't even imagine it.
That's why I laughed there, because it's like you're saying I couldn't get near him. I went, how good is that player actually?
No, well,
Honestly,
I remember my mates played in a charity match, and Hierro played centre midfield, obviously Real Madrid captain, Spanish captain, and I think Hierro at this point would say mid-40s.
Yeah.
And the lad at the time had been playing, I think he was at Rangers, but he'd been released. But early 20s, was a cracking player, fit as anything, and he's up playing as Hierro. He said Hierro did not leave the centre circle. And he said, at no point, at any point at all, did I even get within a metre of him. He said, every time the ball went, he was 2 metres away from me. So his first touch, it was even further from me, and he didn't even break sweat. He's, I'm finishing after 10 minutes, blown out my backside, sweating buckets and thinking, I've not touched the ball. How is this happening?
It's crazy when you think about how good the standard is, not just these days, but of the elite, the elite 1%. They are phenomenal.
It's brain button it.
Definitely,
brain.
And that's what I was going to say. So they've got the athletic side, their touch and the ability side. It's the brain, definitely. Again, I'm not going to call out names, but the hardest player I've ever played against, Luka Modric, for Scotland versus Croatia.
Play against him as well.
Mate, that you're talking about not getting near somebody. I could not get near this guy.
Him.
Could not get near him.
He looks so effortless.
He's tiny, mate.
And so outside the foot.
He's tiny, but just the movement and the...
Nothing's quick. Nothing's that quick. See, when you watch it, doesn't look like he's done that really fast.
No.
He's just dropped into a space and he takes
Always
it. It
unmarked.
looks leisurely, man.
It's just the ball manipulation and the understanding of where the space is and where to move and how to get into it, and always just doing the right movement exactly right all the time. That's what separates these top players.
We step ahead in here, and just
See when you're like a family party or something, and there's like 9-year-olds going like that, do you want a game, Uncle Gary, or whatever, and you go, I'll jump in, and you're like smashing it, hat trick, loving life, and you think, you're near me, I'm too fast, I'm too quick, I'm too clever. Then you go, that's what Messi would probably feel like. No, I mean, Messi, can somebody feel happier? Just like
that's what I'm saying, like with NPL. So I came back and played the NPL level, played centre mid for a bit, but then mostly centre back the last few years. It's just here. It's not like there's definitely faster players than me by far. Like I was a tortoise by that time. But these guys, because I'm a step ahead, just thinking.
I didn't have a chance to run yet.
Yeah, so I mean, so I'm always dropping. They've got space in the ball. I'll just drop. Don't get me wrong. By the end of it, it was like, I'm sure my centre back pairing would have been happy for me to retire, because they were just basically doing all the running. I'd done what I'd done when I was young. I was the runner, and I would pass it to someone, and then someone else had to do that, but I could organise. And that's when I came out of the team, that's what they lost, the organisation from the back, the chat. Because kids don't do that these days.
No,
it's so quiet. It's so quiet.
Not kids, adults don't do it.
I'm just being like this. The players don't do that so much.
Exactly. But I think as well, even from the brain standpoint, you've been on that pitch, you'd probably identify, because again, they always say, from a tactical intelligence standpoint, it's all about cues. You're taking in 1,000 different visual cues and make your decision. You're probably looking at the opposition straight away going, his left foot's crap, he's out of position, there's a space in there. So you've already identified weak point, good, decent, keep it away for that side, play the channel in there before anyone's even thought about it. So every time you get the ball, you're like, I'll just zip it in there. Johnny, fill that hole, clap it in there, and before you know it, you're dictating the full game.
And to be fair, like, towards sort of the end, there was a couple of games, I played against Bonnyrigg at home at Hensley. We're 3-0 down at half time, right? So I'm playing centre back, and I can't remember the guy's name. He was at Sydney FC as a kid, and he came on and he ripped me to shreds. One of those games when they were just so far on top of us that it didn't matter if I was a step ahead, they just destroyed us. So I took myself off. I'm like, I'm done. That's me, I'm off. So you got to recognise as well that when there is good players who are way faster than you and they're on top, then you take yourself out and just help the team in other ways.
It's difficult to do that, to play and coach at the same time.
It is hard, because like basically I'm during the game, I'm calling to Zlatko, who was my assistant, or Alex, who was my assistant as well, saying, next time the ball's out of play,
put it on this.
But I could sort of see it enough, and like we're talking about experience, I had enough time and enough like oxygen in my brain because I'm playing at the back. I think if I was playing centre mid, it would have been a lot harder. Because I'm at the back, I can sort of see the game, and you get a little break now and again, so I could sort of just do it. But it was, I actually didn't find it that hard doing it, but it was, it was obviously going to the coaching, just coaching. Again, you've got no control. You've got control, but you've got no control of the players on the pitch and how you
and their decisions and moments.
Totally, I can push a team up if I'm playing, and know when to push up, know when to come back, and can't do that. So you've got to use your coaching skills to get that across to the team. So,
but that's why no one does it, though, yeah. No one does player coach. It's too hard. It's a short-term thing, and then
of course
they come out of it.
So that was obviously Hakoah. You moved from there to Rydamere?
Yeah, so, got sacked from Hakoah, basically. Right. Let's be honest. Just the transitional period. So
you won the Waratah Cup final, didn't you?
Yeah, so we were kind of a victim of our own success. So we basically won the Waratah, got last 8 of the Australia Cup, as it's called now, against Melbourne City. 3-2 we lost. So
last 8 you got to?
Last 8, mate.
Oh,
last 8, won a Waratah Cup, and we were I think we were 6th in the NPL 1, right? So with an unbelievable season.
That's phenomenal,
for Hakoah, not a huge budget.
Of course,
So we're up against some big clubs with big budgets, so it was difficult. But what happened from that is, and this is like football everywhere, 5 of our best players that season got not poached, but moved to bigger clubs. So Apia came for Kura, for instance. Yeah. Frangie went to Marconi. So we basically lost 5 of our top performers the year before because we'd done so well. Yeah. And then to try and replicate it the next season was really tough. Yeah, and we were always competitive. We just didn't score enough goals, and we ended up getting relegated. And I left then. That's basically when I left.
Yeah, okay. So, and then Rydamere it was.
Rydamere, yeah. So wasn't looking to get back into football straight away, but I met Rydamere, met Anthony in the club, and they sort of sold the project to us, and that was probably more important to me than just what club it was. It was more about a vision and a project. Like same with Hakoah. Hakoah had been out of football for a long time. Mark, my brother-in-law, had taken them from park football up to NPL 1 as part of the process. So he got to NPL 2, and I carried on that job. We got up to NPL 1 and carried it on from there. And it was more about having that. That was more enticing than just any old job.
Yeah, of course.
So myself and obviously Jabba, and that was really important for us. And also the club culture, facilities, and all that stuff it just sort of aligned really well. And we just thought, let's do this.
Yeah. And how was your 2 years at Rydamere?
Really enjoyed it. Really enjoyed it. Yeah, it was great. It was just frustrating in the end, and that's kind of why I walked away, because both years were sort of stopped with COVID, and we'd flying the second year, and then we'd have been promoted anyway. We were pretty much home and hosed because it was top 8 number because they were changing the leagues, and then they just chopped the season. And we were just like, it was just so deflating. Yeah. But a really good experience, good club, good people there. Loved working with the team. And to be honest, with a stacked team, a really good team,
with a great team,
good squad. So which is opposite to what I had at Hakoah. So at Hakoah had a younger squad that tried to progress and try to challenge, whereas at Rydamere it was the opposite, with a really good squad, and we're trying to win things. So it was enjoyable because we're winning most weeks. Yeah, won most weeks. Really good players, and some good football to watch, and great club to be at that point, but it was just a time to walk away. I'd sort of deflated after that 2 seasons.
I actually think we just knew how to win. Even games we were rubbish, we just won.
Yeah, an experience, and in terms of I know money's not everything, but I probably had more budget at Rydamere than I did at Hakoah.
Yeah.
So because it always helps, and you get to see the other side where
you still only gave me $50 a week.
I will. You were shy. Basically, you see it from the other side where at Hakoah you're up and you're challenging every week, and it's hard. Whereas the top clubs, Marconi's, the Apios, have got money and they're stacking their squads. We got to sample that at Rydamere because we had a really good squad for that division that shouldn't have been in NPL 3.
That was NPL 2 side.
So that was where we were going to try and progress that every year. But then it got to the point, the 2 COVID seasons, frustration. My kids also getting older, so they train most nights. So it was just couldn't do it.
It's hard. The travel as well was hard.
Yeah, the travel's hard as well, and that was before the West Connect stuff. We're spewing.
Took ages before that.
So but it was good again. Good club.
So is that you out of the managing gig forever? I think. I see you down the track. It's still long, obviously, but
probably. It's funny. When you're out of football, people think you're a better coach than when you were in football. The offers I've had have been incredible. I've had some amazing offers from top NPL 1 clubs. Top NPL 1 clubs, well backed, but I just can't do it. My kids. So my daughter changed my son changed Monday, Wednesday, Friday. My daughter's Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. He plays Saturday, she plays Sunday. There's no way I can do it. It's impossible. So it's time to spend with them, help them develop, and then down the line when they're a bit older, who knows?
Okay, well, we'll move on to the NPL five-a-side team. There's no point in a non-NPL, mate. You've played with De Boers, played against Fabregas, Modric.
Actually,
Ridiculous.
when you moved on, I just at some point, you'll see it in the video, I just had a wee laugh to myself because I was like, played against Luka Modric.
Yeah.
Modric, De Boer, Fabregas.
Unbelievable, man.
Outrageous.
Oh, there's some crackers in there. Probably not told. There's half of them either. People you played against. Five-a-side team, NPL players you've coached or played with.
Coached or played with.
Gives you a bit more scope rather than just a Hakoya. Somebody there. Do not pick him as a goalkeeper.
No.
100% Chaz and goalie.
Unbelievable.
Chaz, good character, obviously great in the dressing room, but solid goalie. Stupidly brave.
What's wrong with his head?
Probably why he's a goalie. But yeah, in terms of like characters, yeah, Chaz, that's why I obviously identified him to come around with us when we went. So yeah, we'll put Chaz in goal.
Brilliant.
Is it the only reason you wanted to run this podcast?
100% it is. Just wanted one involvement.
Defenders. How are people setting this up? Are they just setting up just
They're
five?
having at least one defender. And then, like at least one of each position. If you want to go two strikers or two midfielders or two defenders, it's up to you. But they're having at least one defender, at least one midfielder, one striker, and you get an extra whatever. Just not two keepers.
I'm trying to think who'd be defence. Who do we have in defence? Right a minute.
Tremors, Posey.
Who's your Hako defenders?
Brad Walker.
You good players, isn't it?
I could play around.
Jonah, right back.
Nah.
Alan McKee was there.
I bet Chimmer's not a five-a-side player. Does it matter if it's just best players?
It's your team.
You know what? I'll take Chimmers.
Chimmers.
You know what I love about Chimmers? Like Chimmers, not like aesthetically, doesn't aesthetically look like a football player.
Nah, he's a good player.
But just like a proper defender,
He was
like
a
an old school
defender.
defender. Obviously,
He was a proper
defender. Proper.
He just wanted to pride himself on defending.
And you don't see that nowadays.
No.
It's all about the ball playing. They're like, no, forget that. Can you actually defend?
He just wanted to defend.
And so I loved Chimmers. I loved his attitude, and I thought he was great for us.
He was brilliant.
Actually, Big Ante reminds me a bit of Trimmers. The way he plays, throws himself in front of the ball, a lot of headers. Ante Backmaz. Came to City United, played for us this year, but he's similar, desperate to act, like throws himself in front of everything, like headers, everything. Makes a few fouls here and there, but it's all about I just want the ball, back.
Right, Trimmers.
Yeah, Chimmers.
Now the good ones, midfielders, attackers.
Andre De Jong, definitely he'll play.
Who's that?
So Andre was at Hakoah with us. He now plays in South Africa. He's probably one of the best. Andre De Jong, yeah. So he was a very good player.
Related to Nigel?
No, I don't think so. No. I think his dad played. His dad played in New Zealand. I think in NSL days and stuff. So I think he's over in South Africa. He's a pro. He's basically a pro for the last 5 years in South Africa. Yeah, so he was really good.
Two players left.
I've got to put Jabba in. Jabba, honestly, Jabba, quality.
When did you coach him, Hakoah?
So Coach Dan played with him.
Oh, okay.
Coach Dan played with him.
I always say that, right? See at training, when he would get involved at night, when he wasn't happy with something, he was just aggressive and horrible, but he could do everything. He won every ball in the air. He was very good, man.
Good player. So Jabba, when he came over, so Jabba was in the youth team at Dundee when I was a pro.
Right, okay.
So that's our connection. That's why he ended up coming to Australia with Mark, because Mark obviously was with us as well. He used to be a midfield player, and his first season MPL, he played for Sharks. He got team of the year and that, so as a midfield player.
Right.
And then it wasn't until he then came to Hakoah and become more of a striker.
Right, okay.
So he sort of progressed the other way, went from midfield to striker. But in terms of striker, intelligent, hold up play, touch, ability, like very, very good player. Very good player. He still plays my 35 thing, Jabba.
Oh, does he?
Well, he's always injured though, so standard Jabba.
Yeah, soft.
Yeah.
And who else you got? That's the last player.
He's been outstanding players he played with, coached.
Struggling for 5 players. Some team you had.
Just memory, mate.
So practice that summer.
Wesley. We'll put Wesley in.
I actually thought you were only going to
Wesley. Love Wesley. Absolute screwball. But in terms of like ability wise, again, I played against him when he was at Tigers when he was a lot younger.
Yeah, 5-a-side team anyway.
It'd be lively. But yeah, Wesley, very good player. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So finishing up with the weekend's games, back to NPL. So the top, we worked it out last week, didn't we? So we're combining all the guest scores. Obviously, what my total score is, what Chaz's total score is, and then we've also got an individual league table of Chaz, me, and then all the guests individually. Highest score so far on the guest is Ali, innit?
Yeah.
You mind beating him? He's on 8.
Right.
12 out of 12 gets you a bottle of Champers.
Nice.
Obviously a cheap bottle of Champers. And then...
12 out of 12.
Aye, no happening. That's not happening. I get 8 this week.
I get
Not
8,
bad.
mate. So you're top now.
Nobody's getting 12, there you go.
So what I done, right, I went on...
Is that why you've done it?
What's that?
Because nobody's going to win that.
Of course. Obviously. So I did combined all the scores of each. I think the guests are up before this week anyway. The guests were on like 33. Chaz was on 32 in total, and I was on 31. But then I thought I want to put all these into ChatGPT and just see what they predict.
Right.
And ChatGPT was what, second?
I was second.
Second top.
Sure.
Aye, so it was basically guest top, ChatGPT, then Chaz and me. But now Chaz is bottom.
I'm bottom after.
See what ChatGPT give us. So anyway, mate, you've got 8 to beat, and then the top 6 will go into a wee playoff final thing. Right, so first game.
City United, Rockdale, mate.
Wowzers. Tough one to start.
I'm going Rockdale.
I'm going draw.
I'm going Rockdale.
Rockdale.
Marconi, St George, FA.
Marconi.
I'm going to go St George.
There has to be an easier way to like distinguish which St George is which St George.
What
one's that?
That's the one who is technically classed as better. They've got like Romero.
Oh yeah.
That's St George. So St George Saints are the ones that came up.
St George Saints is one. Jonesy's team.
That's
Jonesy's
who Spirit's playing this weekend.
Aye.
Saints. That's the only reason I knew the difference this time.
I was actually waiting for you to ask the question.
I get confused every single week.
You know I signed Romero at Hakone.
Did you? Eh?
Never played for us.
How come?
Because basically we signed him with a gentleman's agreement that if a club came in from a pro club, that he would let him go, and he went to Sweden.
Oh wow!
I was devastated.
Killed us.
Wow!
Because that's the season we got relegated.
Oh.
Couldn't score.
Oh.
Didn't score enough goals, but it's obviously important. It was important to him.
I fair play.
I don't know who to pick here.
You
But
can have
I'm
to pick
going to say
someone.
there's going to be a red card in this game.
There's no points for that, unfortunately.
Extra score. I'm going to go with an R draw.
Right, Wolves versus Apia at Wolves.
Tough game.
A tough game.
I watched Wolves against Sydney United, the game they won.
Yeah.
Because my son was playing just after, so I watched that game. They're decent, eh?
Wolves are good, eh?
Aye.
Got some good players.
Because they're on the back of obviously losing 2 games in a row.
And going to Wolves is always tough.
Apia just won 7-0, so
They're flying.
I'm going Apia. Have to.
Aye, I want to go Apia as well. I think they're going to go up a year a wee bit.
I'm going to go Apia as well. Now, big at the bottom of the table, Sutherland versus House.
I'm going to go Sutherland.
Ooh.
Fight back after 7-0.
I'll say draw for that one.
Draw. I'm going House.
Oof.
Seymour Shaw's tough to play at, I think, apart from Apia.
Do you know what? It takes some serious character to recover from a
It does, aye.
So it's
What if I knock's back, mate, for the Sutherland boys?
Bankstown City versus Rydalmere Lions.
I want to go Bankstown City.
I'll go Rydalmere.
I'm going to go Rydalmere as well.
Oh,
Close fair.
play for Rydalmere.
Borierig at home to Bulls.
Bulls.
Bonnie.
Pitch is poor, innit? It's too red. That'll be off.
I think it'll be off as well.
Oh yeah. It's rain.
That'll be terrible.
I'm going to go Borierig as well. Dully versus Dunbar.
I'm going to go Dully. Due a win.
I'm going Dully.
Due a
Dunbar
win.
are struggling, eh?
Yeah, so are Dully though. Dully
Yeah.
have only got 5 points. I think there's Dully, MacArthur Rams, Dunbar and Nepean all on 5 points.
Wow.
And then
Everyone's went
and a Lions versus Tigers.
It's a hard game that.
I'm going to go draw.
I'll go Tigers.
I'm going to go into Lions.
Oh, Mounties South Coast Flames. Next one, that's a good game, isn't it?
That's a good game
What's
night
this one?
tomorrow night. Mounties versus South Coast Flames. 4 games in each competition. So Mounties are second, South Coast are third.
I'm going to go Mounties.
Yeah, I'll go Mounties as
I'm
well.
going to go Mounties. Alan McKee's at Mounties.
Yeah, that's in the episode.
UK to score 2.
In the West, Hawks with Stanmore versus Bankstown United. I'll go Stanmore.
Where's that?
Bankstown.
At Bankstown.
I'll go Bankstown then.
I'm going in our West Hawks.
Are they good?
What?
Are they doing well?
No, this is the first game they've lost this at the weekend.
So they lost to Mounties. That was the first game since round 1 they've lost.
Yeah, well.
Which is strange, they're doing so well, man.
Flying.
Fraser Park versus Glasgow Ride Magic.
Fraser Park.
I'm going Fraser as well.
Right, they've been very
It could
poor.
be anyone on that pitch, man.
That
pitch is terrible.
We've spoken about it a few times, it's shambles.
That's like Bunnings. That's like a Bunnings actually.
It's
Actually
worse, mate.
Bunnings.
It's terrible. You go Fraser as well?
Aye.
And Hurstville away at Prospect.
I'm going to go draw.
Draw. I'm going to go Prospect.
Is Prospect the one that are struggling a bit? Are they doing alright?
No, Prospect are doing alright. They beat Granville Race.
I'll go Prospect then.
Hurstville are struggling a wee bit. And you're going draw?
I'm going to go draw.
Done.
Done,
mate. Before we go, we'll ask everyone someone you'd recommend is getting on.
Guest. Player, coach, MD. NPL obviously, none of you Luka Modric.
Have you a jab on now? Get jab on.
Jab on.
Get jab on.
Jabba. Do you know what I feel with Jabba? But no one will understand the podcast with the three of us.
Mate. I was say that no one understands the podcast. It's too early doing it. I will jab as well, three of us. Because you speak normal.
I try and speak proper.
Aye,
I
but I think then Jabba will get carried away, then we'll end up getting
Who
carried
else
away.
outside of Jabba? Anyone else? I mean, we might get Jabba on anyway, but try to think of anyone else. What about Frangie?
Frankie's a good, yeah, he'd be character.
Aye.
Good character, yeah.
Because we've not had anyone from there.
Yeah,
Okay.
Frankie could go.
Okay, done. Thanks very much,
No
mate.
problem.
Jab.
Thank you.